Wahaha. The Godfather, Part 2. You know, I found these cards at an Indigo. Like, my sister loves chapters, so we were in there just, you know, chaptering around, and I was looking at crap because I don't really read books. And then I wander into this back room right beside the Starbucks, so it stunk like caramel frappuccino crap. So I was like, just like gagging in my mouth. And then I turn, there's this whole wall of tarot cards at an Indigo chapters. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Like, good for you, chapters. Like, and like decks that I've never even heard of. Like, I didn't know this deck existed. Crazy. And they're pretty good prices too. Let me tell you. All right, let's go. Godfather Part 2. Let's do this. This is a very heavy deck, okay? It's a very sturdy deck. I kind of feel like this deck is probably going to hold up for years and years because the cards, like, these things are thick. This is a good deck. Like, it was put together really good. What do we got here? Looks like the 6 of Wands? 4 of Wands. A holiday. Going to Viva Las Vegas. Oh, Vegas is so much fun if you don't gamble. Literally, look at anxiety right there, 9 of Swords. Oh my gosh, how funny is that? Okay, so you might be going on a holiday, okay, and I just heard it could be work related, okay, you could be going somewhere like Las Vegas or Atlanta, something like that, and there's a lot of gambling going on, maybe VLTs, slot machines, stuff like that. I also kind of feel like somebody could be waiting for a holiday. That could be the answer. No, I just got this card. That's the departure card. That's when Vito goes back to Sicily. What? What? These cards are so magical. Magic is like popping off in my life, okay? You gotta realize signs. Like, signs are huge. If you're paying attention, watch Signs. And M. Night Shyamalan's Signs as well. It's a really great movie, but like, signs from the universe, holy moly. Departure. It's like somebody's worried, they've got anxiety on a trip that they're about to take. Maybe you have a fear of heights or a fear of planes. You think something's gonna happen. I don't know, somebody's got anxiety about something. I also got, maybe there's a wedding far away or something that you have to go to. Let's see. Let's get some more info. Gossip, contracts, generosity. Six of Pentacles, Page of Swords. Okay, I did get quick message. Somebody could be asking like, you might have to go somewhere for like family or something like that. And your family members are like, well, they're not going to show up. They're not going to show up. You can ask them all you want, but there's no way that they're going to take that flight. There's no way they're going to get in their car and drive here. Like, ew. Someone's like spreading gossip about this trip that like you're not gonna, maybe that's why you're so worried about it, because people are already saying you're not going to do it. And even if they pay for your ticket, you're still not going to go. Okay, why? What's your point of view on this? Whoa. The Tower. I think that's when Sunny gets into her car accident. breakdown and illumination. And from the looks of it, what you're worried about is that the plane, something's going to happen to the plane and you're going to die. And these people are like, fuck you, you're not going to show up, you're not going to do it. And you're like, yo, I have a massive fear of flying. Like, anything could happen to that plane. Why is it just, I don't want to do it? Because you're saying that I'm just going to be stubborn. Ew, I can feel these. This is your family. Obviously, it's a godfather, okay? It's going to come through as your family. What the fuck? Knight of Coins. You're a very dependable, trustworthy person, okay? By you looking at the schematics of the scene, so you're sitting back like, fuck, maybe you analysis, like your risk analysis or something like that, or you know about risk analysis and you analyzed what it would take to get to where you need to go, and you're like, that's not really worth the risk. Like, that's not worth me dying for it. That's not worth us crashing and having life-threatening disease or damage or PTSD over for the rest of my life. Like, you know what a plane crash would do to you? Jesus, like, that's close to seeing the light, you know? Then the King of Wands. So, like, this is you, okay? You're like this dependable person, and you're already seeing an accident waiting to happen, okay? And you're a leader, so you obviously, like, maybe you have kids with you, or you're gonna have to travel with somebody, and you're like, well, I'm not gonna put their life at risk. Like, you're just mad at me, and you just want me to do something for you, and this is a narcissist, okay? These family members that are talking about you and gossiping and saying only the worst things about you, those are narcissists, okay? Because it's no matter what you say, they're gonna be like, she's lying. Because they already think they know the truth, because it sounds the best to make you the villain. So I just heard I would just sit back and take this. Ooh, you're growing up. You're growing up. Give yourself a pat on the back. Because I think this is going to be really hard for somebody to take. And by you just, it's going to be, they can't do that. That's going to enrage them. Because it's all the devil talking to them. Oh, they just don't want to go. They don't want to spend the money. Even if you bought it, they're just being whatever, right? Strength. Wow. There's Vito himself. Vito makes everything done for him, okay? He's the one that risks everything to get his family business where it is. He's the one that starts it. He's the one that turns everything. He's the one that transitions throughout the movies. Endurance and management. Ooh, partnerships. Oh, I like that. With maternal comforts. Wow, okay. 9 of Pentacles, okay, with the 2 of Cups. And then look at this. 8 of Swords. So I almost feel like that's this family, okay? Like, yo, what's that say right on the bottom? Family. Family. Is that the 10 of Cups? Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is your family. And that's why this is coming out, okay? Your family, oh, look at that. There's the star underneath. Okay, you're the hope. You're the guidance. You are everything. Okay, and look at this. There's the endings. Okay, there's the 10 of Swords. And there's the travel. Okay, so yo, your family's not going to know what hit them soon. And, like, that's really sad, okay? Because the way that they've treated you is actually sadder. And what they've said about you is even worse. So from the looks of it, this family, okay, they're ended. See that last bullet goes right through that glass, right? Right through those glasses. That's a shot to the head, okay? So these restrictions that your family has put on you, you just bypass them all. And that's the strength in you now, that you can listen and you can hear and you can watch people just chirp you and just rip your a-hole apart. And you can stand there and be like, are you guys almost done? I have a plane to catch, right? Like this is hilarious that these people could be saying such narcissistic things about you. And you're just standing there like, man, I'm just going to keep saying it over and over and over again. I don't want to take that flight because I'm afraid of fucking planes. I'm afraid the plane's going to go down. I'm afraid an engine's going to blow. You know how often that shit happens? Okay? Do you know how often planes almost right in the middle of the air? I actually know somebody who, he was on a flight. This man had awful flights. Okay, he doesn't fly anymore, and I get it. He was on a flight to Europe. They were mid-air. Okay, everybody was sleeping. He was awake, and he looked out the window, and there was a plane coming directly for them. And nobody was noticing because everybody was sleeping. This was like a 16-hour plane ride or something. And finally, he's watching this plane just get closer and closer. And I mean, I'm talking this is within seconds, right? Finally, the pilot comes on and says something. And that plane was able to, because I mean, they have to get permission to fly at certain heights, right? So that pilot, both those pilots, once they realized they were going to hit, realized that they both had to change altitudes. One went up, one went down. And Peter said they barely missed each other. And everybody, like, I think it was majority of the plane went into like mass hysterics in that last second as the planes were just coming over. Like everybody was sleeping for the most part. And then boom, once that pilot came on, everybody got up, started freaking out. But he said, he's like, I was pretty determined to believe that my life was over. And and that's the thing. And then this man also took a flight and the guy beside him died. And they couldn't do anything about it. They were like, we can't move him. There's nowhere to put him. He was like 250 pounds. He was blocking the aisle. And Peter, all they did was put a blanket over top of him. And he had to sit beside a dead guy for like 10 hours. So I understand why he doesn't fly anymore. Right? And then when I think about it, the last plane that my sister and I took, we went on a vacation together. And this was like, oh my God, probably like 8 years ago. And she got so sick there. And usually it's the one I get sick. But for some reason, she got so sick this time, she didn't eat for days. I thought she was going to die. She looked like a skeleton on the way home. And I hadn't slept for a week. So once we got on the plane, I basically died. Okay, we got 2 first-class tickets because we were the last ones on the plane. It was hilarious. And this couple I was sitting beside, at the end of the flight, I woke up and they were like, oh my God, have you slept? And I'm like, no. Like, I was like lethargic. Like, I couldn't even open up my eyes barely. And they're like, well, we just want to let you know, there's been a halo underneath this plane the entire time. I'm like, a halo? So, and like, these people were big beside me. Like, they were 200 plus easy couple beside me. Hence why they were in first class, right? So I like kind of like maneuvered around them and looked out the window. And sure enough, there was a halo underneath our plane. How it was underneath, I don't know. I don't understand. And after that, I was like, I kind of knew that was a clear-cut sign that I didn't want to really leave my country anymore. I didn't want to go to a third world anymore. I didn't really, like, I just don't feel like getting on a plane and going anywhere makes sense anymore. Like, I don't feel like anywhere, if I can't get there driving, I love driving. I'll take a fucking 7-day driving trip. I'll take a 2-week driving trip. I'll take a month driving trip. I'll live in my car. I have lived in my car, right? I love driving. So I have no problems. If I can drive there, I would rather drive there than fly there. And then they always say, well, flying's cheaper. And I think, I'm not doing this for cheaper. I don't care what's cheaper. This is my life. I'd rather have all wheels on the ground at all times, as opposed to being however high in the air in a flight, okay? That's just me. That's me analysis, kind of analyzing risk over death. Do I want to risk this for something stupid. Like for a holiday, for a funeral. No. Not saying a funeral is stupid, but would I fly somewhere for a funeral? Do I want to die on the way to a death ceremony? No. And I don't think that person who's dead would want me to almost face death to go to their death ceremony, right? Like, I'm sure they'd be angry. Why would you do that? Like, I'm dead. It doesn't matter anymore, right? Okay. So, I think you travel by train. I think that's what I'm getting to. Material comforts. Like, there could be money involved. Like you could have a will. You could be going towards a will or something. And that's why these people are shit talking you. It's almost like I see them shit talking you because they think if you don't show up to sign for the will, then they get the money. And like, I talked to somebody about this. Because like, I don't know if my mom is dead or not. She sends me suicide letters and then I just don't hear from her again. So like, I don't know if she's dead or alive, right? So I was talking to my boss about it and I was like, you know, can people change wills? Like, once my mom wrote her will, which I know she would have done. I don't know if I'm in it. I don't really care. But the thing was, I'm like, I know how greedy my uncle is. And I know that my family is running out of money because none of them want to work, right? They think they're entitled. They owe so much debt. So I know that they want to kick people out so then they can get credit, you know, from the dead ones. So I was like, can they do that? Like, can they mess with my will because my mother and I don't speak? Because my mother is married to a pedophile? Because I don't want to speak to her husband? Like, how was that done? And she's like, oh, that's all lawyers. Once your mom writes it down and signs it, nobody can fuck with it. And like, that's why there's wills, right? That's the whole point of a will, is so then people can't go in and go, well, dad wouldn't have wanted that. Well, mom wouldn't have wanted that. Well, you know that they went down the hole for the last couple years. So why would, you know, like, you know, people want to start making up excuses and then being like, well, these two were fighting. So why would mom give her the money? Or why would grandmother give her the money when she got kicked out of the family? Like, you can't say that, because even if somebody got kicked out of a family, or even if somebody disowned a family or fucking ran away or did whatever the fuck they did, right? What do you call that? Ostracize them? No. When you get out of your family. Anyways, I don't know. I forgot what it's called, but, you know, like, that doesn't mean that those people in that family member and that family still don't care about that member that walked away. Like, just because there's fighting going on, families fight. That's what they do. They argue. They don't speak to each other for years, but we're all bounded by blood, right? And people will put hatred in front of blood, right? And then people will also try to get close to people in their end days, trying to get their wills, trying to get the money, trying to get the house, right? People are vindictive, and the way that they play is very vindictive. And I know my family is very vindictive. And that's why whatever my mother writes down, whatever is in that will, whatever my father does, it's all up to them. Like, I'm what they choose to do is up to them. I really don't care. No one's gonna fear me into taking my father's house because I don't speak to him anymore. He's still my father. He chose my life. And therefore, if somebody chose for you to be here, then, I mean, if the shoe fits, wear it, right? Like I'm pretty sure if somebody gives you life, they kind of have to take responsibility for it, right? Even though people feel like they don't have to take responsibility for things, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people think in their little, jealous, underdeveloped minds, right? Their third eyes aren't even open. They have no idea how to even speak to themselves. They probably still coat their face in makeup because they hate themselves and the way they look so much. They can say that they love themselves, but you wouldn't cover yourself up if you loved yourself. You would truly shine the way that you are, because makeup is just a mask. And it doesn't matter what anybody says, how much they defend it. It is what it is. It's a mask, right? So you've got to take responsibility for what you do, not try to change the definition of something. These people are trying to change the definition of you by saying you're being, it's almost like they're saying that you're being irrational. Like, everybody flies in planes, get over it. Everybody risks their lives every day, get over it. And you're like, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, life is a risk every day just driving to work. Life is a risk every day just being in my apartment building. Are you kidding? Like, I don't analyze risk. I'm just not that stupid. I don't take steps where I don't need to. If people want to call you stupid for that, I mean, I think that's their stupidity not being able to open up to even hear what somebody else has to say, let alone what somebody else does, right? So that's why I always say, be very careful with people who can't take advice, but always give it. That's very like, whoa, you know, like, back up from that person, because all you're ever going to be hearing is them chirp about everything. And the second you try to say something, poof, they're just going to treat you like a child again. Oh, well, you need to listen. Do you know how many women have crossed my path and said to themselves, oh, she needs to learn something from me? Okay? Then I gotta go through this whole fucking thing and dreams and fucking people face to face, and I've gotta learn what it's like to be a woman. Like, I don't know. Okay, I'm 37. I know what it's like to be a woman. Okay? But their definition of a woman is prop your boobs up. Make sure your ass is showing. Make sure you got your makeup on. And your hair's all did. And your nails are did. That's what women think women are. That's pathetic definition of a woman, right? The definition of a woman is a badass warrior that's covered in scars and is ready and still confident enough to show the world who they are. That's a fucking woman. Even a man. Men are not these clean cut, fucking hipster, tight, I look like a manly man in my woodman suit. Like, no, you're not. Sit down, right? Like, you know, the definition of people in 2023, like, now I'm getting, oh my God, the definition when on The Office, Ryan, the temp, he's living in New York, and he's talking about how much he spent on his haircut, and he goes, $200. I spent $200 on this haircut in New York. Like, how dumb are you? Like, seriously. This guy at my work got his hair cut across the street at the barber shop. It cost him like $30. This guy went like gung-ho on everything. He had the best cut ever, and he's like, I can't even believe people like him exist anymore. And I was like, barber shops do exist that aren't suddenly from 2045. Like, I just don't get it. But I understand where majority of stupid people are going. Like, I haven't gone to get my hair done in like 15 years. I don't go and get my hair done. I cut my own hair. I dye my own hair. I fucking dreaded my own hair. I do my own shit. I don't expect somebody else to do it. Because you know what those bitches do? They put all their bad juju into your hair as they're doing it. Fuck this woman. Look at her fucking hair. It's so beautiful. I'm just gonna cut it all off. Like, ugh. I don't know, man. I think somebody is on to something here. And I think you know that your family is as shallow as I've been saying. Okay? This family seems to give in to temptation, and they give in to bullyism, and they give in to each other because they think that they have the best advice for each other, but what they don't realize is that they're all living lies, and extremely dangerous ones, right? So, you know, just this, something's coming, okay? And if a death approaches, okay, and your family calls you and says, you know, we have this ticket for you, and you know, we really think you need to come down here for this funeral and bury your father or bury your mother or bury your sister, and you say no, I'll get there when I get there by myself. I don't go by your deadline. I'm not going to be there for a specific time, but I will be there to take care of this. You might just blow their fucking heads off. Because you've taken your entire life and gotten it under control. Whereas these people still think that bullyism gets them somewhere. That if they say something because they're older than you and they're more entitled than you, then you're just going to do it. These are very unhealthy family members. Okay, very unhealthy members of society, from what it sounds like. So, you're dealing with a gang of narcissists. And if you happen to be far from home and you have to go back home to do something, you do it the way you want to do it. Okay? You pull the fucking trigger when you decide to pull the trigger. Okay? You do not, by any means, give in to these people because they're talking shit about you. Don't give them that satisfaction. Because whatever they're picking up, it could be an older you, whatever they're picking up, like when my Oma and my Opa moved in with my mother and my stepfather, this happened like maybe 10 years ago or something. They couldn't afford to go to Florida anymore or something, so they had to move in with my mom because they're gamblers and they gambled all their money away and they don't have any anymore because they're extremely irresponsible. They found out how much my mother and my stepfather fight. And they don't just fight, like bickering at each other. They throw shit at each other. It's violent. It's disrespectful. They call each other cunts, assholes, pricks, bitches, fucking anything you can think of. My mom threw a chair at his face once, broke his glasses, okay? These aren't just arguments. These are full-blown rage fits that these two have. And I thought, you know what? Damn right. You sat there for years and made it seem like my mother and her and my stepfather had the best relationship when he's a pedophile and she's a cunt. Like, you think that they're perfect? And I think that that's karmically designed for family members to come face to face with each other in extremely close proximities to learn really what they're like. Because people have this huge idea of what a family is until they get into that house. And it's done by your own members, right? Like, it's done by your own family members. Like, they have no idea what happens under your roof. But if they see some type of cookie cutter life, they're gonna go by that animal. And that's why they're like, well, she's lazy and vindictive and she just doesn't want to come down here because she knows that we're mad at her and she just abandoned her family and blah, blah, blah. People are going to say what they can say because they're angry at you. They're angry at you for leaving. And that's why you're so full of anxiety over this, because their words are restricting you. They're deciding what to say and they're just saying it. And that's why you have to end this, okay? And make it a holiday, for fuck's sakes. Make it a holiday. Enjoy yourself. Don't let them take something away from you because they think they're right all the time. This is where you shut those I think I know everything people down. Because once one person shuts down on them, the others begin to shut down on them because somebody has to end the cycle of allowing people to just do and say whatever they want because they're your family members. Fuck you. That's ignorant as fuck. You're just gonna let this princess get away with everything because she's 55 and can't deal with her trauma? No. I don't care. Everybody needs to deal with their trauma. And if they don't want to deal with their trauma, that's totally fine. But leave everybody alone then. Deal with it yourself. Hurt yourself. Hit yourself. Yell at yourself. Don't yell at people around you. Right? Like, this is like kind of angry to me. Like, people are so inappropriate. And the way they act is so much more inappropriate in a family because they think that they can just get away with things because they're in your family. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not how a judge would see it. Oh, well, my brother killed somebody, but because he's my brother, I'm going to let him off. No. Fucking idiots. All right. This is a Godfather Part 2. Clearly, this is, I don't know, maybe continuing off the first one where somebody does die that is like some type of witch or some type of culprit or opponent in your life that has been fighting you this whole time. Maybe that's the death I'm picking up on. Maybe somebody very close to you is going to die. And now that the death has come, it's not about the death anymore. Now it's about the funeral. So now that they can't hit you with the death, now they're going to try to hit you with the funeral. Yeah, fucking losers. Again, all I can hear is narcissists. Like, that's really sad. Anyways, okay. End of the reading. Thanks for watching. this kind of pissed me off, but at the same time, I mean, it's the message that pisses me off. It's not the fact that I have to do it, you know. It's just like, that's an angry message. That sucks. So, be yourself. Don't let these people take you over, make it seem like, look at the high priestess. I actually saw success. So I think somebody definitely knows exactly what I'm talking about with this. So rock 'em, sock 'em. And that's it. See you later.